Sandy moved from the Highlands to Glasgow for work last autumn. He's been sofa surfing and is now having to rent a room rather than a flat.
Pretty frustrating. This is my first job since graduating, and I'm trying my hardest to put in a good effort. And when you've got the uncertainty of actually having somewhere to live, to call your home, it's the bit of a burden that I've had on me for quite some time now.
Rents in Scotland's biggest cities have risen significantly in the past year. In Edinburgh, letting a property will now cost you an average of almost £1,000 a month, and increasingly that's unaffordable.
What we're seeing is nearly 50% of people saying that they are struggling with their housing costs at some point. And worryingly, nearly 60% of people with children are also struggling with their housing costs. Now, for us, this raises serious worries that more people are going to be pushed into homelessness.
Legislation on rent controls is to be brought forward in Parliament.
The consultation on that has just over a week left to run, so I would encourage people to respond to that if you haven't already, and make sure that we can get the best, most effective system of rent controls that not only helps affordability, but also creates incentives to improve quality in the private rented sector as well.
It could be 2025 before that comes into force, not soon enough for the Living Rent Union.
And this is a huge issue. It's not just a few bad apples, the entire system is rotten. This is contributing to the fuel poverty, the cost of living crisis, the climate crisis, and it's literally making us sick. It's not on. The Scottish Government has to introduce rent controls now because we just really can't afford to wait a second longer.
The biggest letting agent for the private rented sector believes more rules could drive some landlords to simply sell up.
At the moment, we house 700,000 tenants in Scotland, 340,000 properties in the PRS. Let's try and encourage more investment into that, and that will regulate the rents by supply and demand. But if you bring in rent controls and more landlords leave the market, where are these 700,000 people going to live?
One solution with wide support is to build more social housing. Across Scotland, there's a target of providing 100,000 new ones over the next decade. Campaigners say that falls far short of what's needed. And for those struggling now, a more affordable option can't come soon enough. Gordon Chree, STV News, Edinburgh.